personnel actions report and addendum that it's also available through board docs.
Thank you. As part of correspondence to the board, we have two listed, Eric Palazzo and the Touchdown Club. Again, if the date ranges from July 29th to August 22nd, if you think you have sent something in, it may not have been received, so please reach out to the district clerk so we can make sure that your message has been received. I need approval of the minutes. So, motion for approval of the minutes of August 25th.
Motion.
Hold on, it's got August 2nd, excuse me, August 2nd, August 10th, excuse me. Motion, Heather? Second? Second, Mr. Scheid. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, so just right before we get to introduce Dr. Arenstein, I just wanted to go over a few things. One is, I don't know if you guys saw the press today or out there in the parking lot driving by today. We had an amazing event at our school here at the high school, arranged by Ms. Kim Skillen, and again, with the help of many, many people in our district, in coordination with Island Harvest, News 12, Optimum. They decided to bring backpacks to hand out from our community. It was a wonderful event. It expanded and expanded and expanded from the press. We were able to bring some very important other foundations and people in. So it worked out to have South Shore University was here. We had Neighbors Supporting Neighbors here. We had donated services from Pam and Jams, who's a local parents here to support the event. We had the Emily Meyer Foundation, Warner Brothers, Long Island EOC, Restaurant Depot. So as you can tell, a lot of people jumped on board to support this wonderful event. Ms. Skillen, how many people rolled through? Did we get an idea?
We believe we gave out food and backpacks to about 500 people today.
Awesome, awesome. So again, with that, a huge shout out to all of our student volunteers, our staff volunteers, you know, the wonderful people in this building who helped set it up. You know, again, just an additional event that got brought to us that, you know, I think we hit it out of the park. So just want to let everybody know. So with all self ado, I want to introduce everyone to Dr. Arenstein. I have a little bit of a little thing to speak first. So, you know, with a career in education spanning 45 years, I'll say it quickly, Dr. Arenstein, or otherwise known as Larry, has spent the past decade sharing his knowledge with aspiring leaders and teachers as a founder of Educational Performance Consultants. We are excited to welcome here an educator with such a distinguished career and proven track record. His experience, knowledge, and insight will provide our district with the expertise and leadership abilities necessary to continue our high-quality, well-rounded education for all our students. So, welcome, Dr. Arenstein. It's your turn to give a first message to the crowd.
A brief message. First of all, I apologize, we apologize for keeping you waiting so long. We had a terrific executive session, and a lot of good things are going to come out of it. You'll be hearing about it. It was well worth the wait, in my opinion. We did some really important stuff. I guess, first of all, I want to thank the board for having the confidence in me to appoint me as the leader of the school district. My intention is to be here through the end of January. The board will be conducting a search for a permanent superintendent, and I promise you that I will maintain this district to my very best ability and move it forward as well. I'm not going to be a potted plant. I'm going to be very active throughout the community. I've already started, I spent the last week meeting with a host of people one-on-one, visiting with the principals at their schools, meeting with administrators, meeting one-on-one with all of the board members, Shy One, having intensive conversations with the central office, doing all of that, and defining what the strengths are in the district, what your needs are, and beginning to develop some priorities. So my hope is that you're going to see things move forward, not just be maintained. I think some of the highest priorities are to pull people together and create more of a team and create some really goodwill throughout the community. I'm going to be meeting with the PTA Council shortly. Those meetings are set up. So I'm saying to you, I'm going to be very active. My intention is to get out to the schools, do walkthroughs, see what's going on from an instructional point of view. Okay? I have served in these, over all of these decades. I'll give you a little clue how many decades. 7 decades. Okay? I started teaching in New York City in 1964. So you could do the numbers. Okay? You could do the numbers. I hope I'm still holding up in terms of my vigor and my good looks, but I've been at it for a very long time. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the zeros, the 10s, the 20s. 7 decades. I guess I've learned a few things over the years. Most of my career was spent as a school principal. I've been an elementary, a middle school, and a high school principal. Okay? I've been an assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction and a superintendent of schools. And I'm here to serve you. Obviously, I've learned a few things over the years, and I intend to tap into a reservoir of my knowledge and skills to serve you. I was thinking on the drive over here today, I was thinking about my family. And my mother was one of 6. My father was one of 8. I grew up in the Bronx. I guess you would call it, I lived in a tenement. My father was a custodian. He worked for the New York Port Authority in their main building, which at that time was in New York City, in Manhattan. My mother was handicapped. Needless to say, we didn't have a lot of money. And the emphasis was, my parents always preached to me, you got to do well in school because that's going to be a ticket. And I guess I took their advice. I'm a product of the New York City public schools and the city colleges to a great extent, and the state colleges. I'm proud of my education. I know what education means in terms of our children. So on Sundays, my mother's family, the 6 siblings, their husbands, their children, would gather at my grandmother's apartment, small little apartment, with all my cousins who were all contemporaries. And I remember as the families came together, they talked about their problems. And I felt that if I could be quiet enough, they would forget I was there and I could listen and I could learn. And I made myself very quiet, and I thought I was being invisible, and I listened. And my aunts and uncles would talk about their family problems and share and try to help one another. And my grandmother, who was an immigrant, she spoke broken English, She was illiterate. She couldn't read. She couldn't write. But she was a very wise woman. They lived next door to me. Grandma and I were very good friends. She had a very big impact on who I am. My family members did as well. And Grandma would listen very quietly as everybody talked about what was going on in their lives and what their challenges were. And then every Sunday, somebody would turn to Grandma and say, "Grandma, what do you think?" And she would say, in her broken English, with her Yiddish, and she would say, "Is it good for the kinder? Is it good for the children? Is it good for the kinder? Is it good for the children?" Well, I'm here to say, I'm all about the kinder. I went into education because it's all about the children. And I promise you that every decision I make, I will have in mind, is it good for the kinder? I have 5 kinder, and I have 5 grandchildren. And what I hope for and dream for them, I want for your children as well. So that's who I am, that's what I stand for, and my guiding principle is we got to do the best thing as far as our children is concerned. I speak to you sincerely from my heart. I've always operated that way. And with that, thank you very much for coming out here tonight. And again, I pledge to do whatever I can to serve you. They say in basketball, when you're in the game, you leave it all on the court. And that is, you go out, you play your game, and you play your hardest, and you give it all you got. And that's what you're going to get from me. I'm going to leave it all on the court. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Larry. Appreciate that. And again, welcome.
Thank you.
So this is public participation, guidelines for public participation. This section gives the Board of Education an opportunity to recognize residents who wish to raise a question or make a brief statement on agenda items and agenda items only. The time today will be 5 minutes for each comment or question. And as we always say, please come up to the podium and state your name and where you're from, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so at the last meeting, I asked what the terms of Glenn's departure were from the district, and you told me it wasn't final, so you couldn't tell me. It's final. He's gone. Can you tell us what the terms were?
Yeah, so that agreement is available to the public. It can be foiled, and, you know.
Well, apparently, it has been foiled, and I know several people who have foiled it, and it's still not available.
Right, it's in the process of being,
The request are being processed.
right, redacted, and the requests are being processed.
Well, can I just ask them, because I know several people have foiled it, can we move along on that? Because a lot of people are waiting, and because it's taking so long, it doesn't, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, sometimes you have to wonder what's going on, because is there something you don't want us to see? That's just, appearances sometimes speak volumes.
Yeah, again, the Board of Education is not part of the process, right? So the process is with, you know, the district clerk and the law firm.
Right now, it's with us.
Yeah.
So, as their attorneys, we've received the request for the FOIL, we received the agreement. We're in the process of reviewing and redacting it, and when it's available, we'll make sure that it's available to those individuals who've requested it. So, as of right now, we're well within the parameters of the law, and, you know, we'll provide it.
Oh,
There's nothing being hidden.
Well, no,
Everything
you know
that's,
what?
that the public is entitled to see, they will see.
Well, you are in the parameters, but the time has already passed, and you guys have told me that you need an extension. I'm just hoping, I believe the date I got now was September 6th.
Yeah, I would say the likely case is probably next week.
Well, thank you, that would be lovely. All right, I'll save the rest for later. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, can I just say welcome?
Thank you. Thank you, Evelyn. Good? Okay. So, policies, none at this time. Personnel actions. Okay, so. Okay, so, need a motion for resignations, terminations, and leaves of absence. The superintendent of school recommends the board approves the resignation, terminations, leaves of absence, and/or position abolitions in accordance with applicable provisions of education law and civil service law as in Schedules 1 and 1A. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion. Heather, second?
Second.
Bob? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carry, any abstentions?
I
Hold
should,
on. Motion, no, we gotta wait first, and then motion.
It's motion, second, discussion.
Yeah, go ahead. So discussion now, yep.
discussing now, I have a family member on this one, so I'm just disclosing that.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Thank you. Any discussion by board members on that? Okay, perfect. So, so motion carries? Good? Any abstentions? All in favor? Aye? Thank you. Okay. So appointments, tenure salary changes. The superintendent of school recommends the Board of Education approve the appointments, tenure appointments, and salary changes in accordance with applicable provision of education law and civil service laws cited in Schedule 2 and 2A. Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Bob, second. Second, Keisha, all in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Motion carries. So we have Section 11, which is omnibus from A through M. We need a motion. Motion, Heather, second. Second? Hello?
Second.
Second, Bob. Any discussion on any of them? Questions? So A through, sorry, it's just new paperwork, guys, so just bear with us as we get used to it. A through M. So motion carries, right? Good. So A through M, this is hard to read. I don't want to skip anything. Okay. So it was 9, it was 10, so I need 11. 11, so omnibus 12. Thank you, guys. All right, 12. Thank you. So, emergency management guidebook, I need a motion. Recommend the board approve the emergency management guidebook for the 22-23 school year. Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Scheid, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Myers, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstention? Motion carries. Approval of the district comprehensive improvement plan. Recommend the board approve the district comprehensive improvement plan for the 22-23 school year. I need a motion. Motion, Ms. Rowland, second. Second, Ms. Rivers, all in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. We got the approval of the school comprehensive education plan for 2023, so recommend the board approve the school comprehensive education plan for 22-23 school years. Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Scheid, second. Second, Heather Rowland, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. This other one here. Acceptance of finding and decision, right? So this one is, resolve the Board of Education hereby accept the findings and fact decision in connection with an employee disciplinary proceeding held pursuant to Education Law 3020A regarding employment listed in the attached confidentiality Schedule A, and hereby implements the penalty rendered in connection therewith to be effective August 25th and to be it further. Resolve the Board of Education hereby directs, God bless you, the district clerk to notify the employee of said decision and penalty and the effective date of the same. Motion? Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Myers, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Scheid. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Motion carries. We're into subcommittees of the board. Audit Committee, have anything to report?
No.
Nope.
No, not
Okay.
yet. I think they're closing the books and stuff, and then we'll meet.
Awesome. Building inspection report, the building committee?
So we've met a couple of times over the summer to look at some of the construction work that's being done, especially at MGV and Parliament. Very tight schedule to get it in. We only had 9 weeks, as Frank and Matt will tell you, or have told us. They're coming along pretty quick, but it's still going to, especially MGV, I think they're going to be just in time delivery. So, but it's all new cabinetry and new bathrooms in the elementary classrooms and stuff. So it's really starting to look nice coming together. We did a building walkthrough today through most of the buildings, and there's some really good work being done there. So I want to thank the staff, Matt and Frank, for following up on all the construction and then just the normal maintenance over the summer that they have to do. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, great, Bob. Thank you. Yeah, and so again, as the president just saying, we had our building walkthrough as the full board. Dr. Larry was with us along with Frank and Matt Backus, who is our building title, yeah, director of facilities. We met pretty much every principal when we went to each building. Went to all 7 buildings. We met the head custodians when available. They walked us through. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that still have to be done. We have a weekend of work. We have some overtime to be done. But what is complete looks fantastic. Some of the new work is really, like Bob said, just amazing. We can't wait for you guys to get in the buildings and see them. Yeah, we're on a tight schedule. We know we have some, teachers getting in a little later than normal, and we understand that and respect that. So we're getting these buildings operational and running when our kids get in the building, and we'll work on making them pretty, throughout the next couple days, first couple days of school as well. So I just wanted to say, again, thank you to everyone, the building staff and everyone for all their hard work and diligence. We heard from each and every one of the heads. Some of them are really, really dedicated, and I just want to share that to you. Some of the statements made by those gentlemen today about how important it is, how that building looks when your kids enter the building, just some of the comments they made, you can really tell that they really care. So thank you to all of them. Any board members have anything they want to add on that, considering you were all on the walkthrough? Yeah, nice, good, perfect. Policy committee, there is nothing. We have a meeting set up, though, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
I was listening today, but
Yeah, some little couple changes around, right? Okay, awesome. So we'll get that right on the board. I know, Bob, we spoke about legislative committee, right? You're on that with me. Is it you? No, it's Kat. It's Kat. So we spoke about getting a meeting on the books with her. Communication committee? Ms. Rivers?
we were meeting.
Same one tonight, right? Yeah. So we had a couple of meetings scheduled for tonight. We did have an extended meeting again with having Dr. Larry in for the first time. We also had some interviews for some positions. So we had to make a little bit of adjustment of some of the meetings. So stay tuned. We'll get some of those things back on the board. We already discussed the all buildings walkthrough. We should have been discussing that at the building topic. But anyway, we got that in. So now this is a section for public participation again. According to our, public expression, same thing. This is our policy 1510. Section of the agenda gives the Board of Education an opportunity to recognize residents who want to raise a question, make a brief statement on matters including but not limited to agenda items. Again, same status is 5 minutes. And please come to the mic. So thank you.
How are you? My name is Monica Santali, and my son's been coming to this school since he was in pre-K, in kindergarten, I'm sorry. In the past years, I've been having a lot of struggles with my son's teachers, and he has been getting principal's list 4 quarters in a row this year. Last year, he had an average of a 96%. He behaves well. Nothing has been done on his behalf wrong. I've think at this point I have experienced a lot of exclusionary. I feel this is how I feel, not only for the kids of color, but the brown kids too. 2004, Mr. Ehrenstein worked at Copic High School, and I was hired under him. If he would have not given me the opportunity to work in his district, which has become now a bilingual, dual language, all the way through school, I would not be here. It's been 19 years I've been working there, and I would like to see more of this added to this school district. Out of all the 10 letters that I got for my son to be back to school, only 2 were in Spanish. They need to be more, all of them in Spanish. More phone calls need to be translated into Spanish, which is, 3 years ago, I probably emailed Dr. Ashback, and I asked him, because there was, before COVID, there was a lot of kids that were not informed of the meals. Their parents do not navigate systems, computer systems or electronics, and we know that. So I think there needs to be an awareness to this matter. And as far as I see in every meeting that I did, like yesterday we went to the sixth grade orientation, there was 6 Hispanic parents only. And they were asking me, what do we do? Where do we go? We got nothing in Spanish. So they don't even know where their classrooms are, their schedules are, nothing. So it's kind of sad. But like I said, it's taken me 3 years of struggling with my son's teachers and fighting for him. Why is he not given the opportunity to be in Algebra 1 or living environment or social studies enriched? So that's my concern right now. I want a piece of this. I'm Mexican American, first generation. My kids are second generation. And I have as well an impeccable curriculum too. I mean, 26 curriculums we've written. And also I teach to Spanish-speaking kids. I don't teach Spanish to American kids. I teach Spanish to Hispanics. It's kind of like English for American speakers, and same thing here. So I want to be part of this. I want my kids, and not only my kids, my people, and everybody else, kids of color, brown kids, everyone, to get a piece of this. It's well worth it. So please, allow me to translate anything you need for free and be part of anything you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We hear you. We made some great advances in there, and I would suggest you maybe reach out to our district clerk, who again is similar to you and has given us the ability to do some of those things. I see Ms. Gillen looks like she wants to say something, so I'm gonna let her speak on this too.
So it definitely is something that we've been working on, and we're not there. Our district website can be translated into languages where people can navigate that, and our robocalls that go out are translated. But we're not at the point that I know that you're happy at. If you looked at tonight, the board just approved the district comprehensive improvement plan, and one of the items that the committee put on that plan was a huge emphasis for teachers to better understand how to use the systems to translate, use Proprio to be able to communicate verbally with parents, and to make sure that they are translating all documents home to students and parents in their target language. So that is a priority in this year's plan that will be worked on. But I'd be more than happy to discuss it any further with you, so please feel free to contact me.
I would like to say something to you. I had a lot to do with that dual language program. You know that. Okay. This is an issue that's very important to me. Okay? I hear you. And I'm very moved by what you said. I don't want to be part of something that isn't fulfilling the needs of all of our students. And so I'm going to pay attention to this and make sure something happens, that it moves through. Okay? It's not about giving lip service. Okay? We have to do things instructionally. Okay? It's not enough to provide something on a website. We have to be sensitive to all people. So I'm here for you. Okay?
Good evening. How you doing? My name is Jeremy Robertson, and I have a daughter who attends MGV Elementary School. She was in kindergarten last year. She's currently going into first grade. First off, I'd like to say that my daughter had a tremendous experience last year as a kindergartner there, but I do have one overall major concern. The state requires elementary-aged kids to receive 120 minutes of physical education class per week. At MGV, and I'm sure the other elementary schools in North Babylon as well, they're currently only receiving 2 classes of 40 minutes, which is 80 minutes a week. My question to you is this something that is ever discussed? I would like to know why we're not meeting the state requirement of 120 minutes per week. And then I have a couple follow-up questions after that as well.
We hear you, and thank you for bringing it to the attention. We could definitely, again, reach out to Ms. Skillen. She's our instructional curriculum superintendent, and she can help guide you through that. And
Okay. To me, I know you talked about things that are important to you. This is something that's extremely important to me. I mean, kids nowadays have sedentary lifestyles. There's a large number of obese kids and kids with diabetes and so forth. And you saw it even just with COVID. The kids, or not just the kids, but the adults who practice healthy habits and were in good physical shape were able to battle the disease a lot more effectively than the people who were not. We need to reach these kids now when they're young. I'm a phys ed teacher myself, actually, in another district, and this is something that I believe, very strongly about. I actually did reach out to the athletic director already. It took him a little while to get back to me, but when he did, he didn't really give me a great answer. He told me when he started, this is how it was, and he didn't really have time to change it yet. Well, I think it's time to change it because the kids really need, I look at the kids in my district, they're getting 40 more phys ed classes a year than the kids in North Babylon are getting. And that's a huge discrepancy, and it's a huge disadvantage for our kids. So if we're really all about the kids, your health is your number one wealth, is my saying. Without your health, you're nothing. It doesn't matter how much money you make, what job you have, where you live, or anything like that. You need your health. And we're currently not meeting the state mandate. I don't want to hear that recess is included because it's very clear on the state website that recess is not included in this. And I also am aware that we're supposed to submit a PE report each year that has our physical education plan on it. I would like to know what was written on that plan last year. I don't know if that's something you could share with me. What are we doing for those 40 minutes a week that we are not giving them? Are we making something up and saying the classroom teachers are doing something with them? Because I can tell you right now, my daughter did not receive any physical education in the regular classroom setting.
okay. Thank you so much.
So what's the outcome here? Am I gonna hear something back?
Yeah, if you can please reach out to, again, Mrs. Skillen and discuss that with her. And if you, again, please follow up with us. You can also foil that report that you were requesting, as far as the progress report up to the state. But I'm sure Mrs. Skillen will be happy to, sit down with you. Veronica will get you her information. And we'll definitely, we hear you again, too. We appreciate it.
Well, I hope it's important to you guys as well as me because the kids need this in our district. They're at a huge disadvantage missing out on that.
Thank you.
I think you have a valid concern, and, I'm going to look into it. I want to find out what's going on and see whatever I could do to make a correction.
Okay. I have a wealth of knowledge on it,
I
and
see
we are
that.
in the minority as far as districts that are not meeting the requirement. And I do know that there are other districts just recently that have been audited because of this, and I don't obviously want to see that happen to us.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, hello, Evelyn Handel, 7 Hinton Avenue. Okay, I have a lot of concerns. Are you ready? Okay. Mr. Eschbach was not necessarily my most favorite person, but I didn't have an issue with the job he was doing. I read some of his reviews, his past reviews, because they were available on the website. If he had such wonderful reviews, why didn't we make an effort to keep him? It was a question. Okay, I'll just move right along. Where's the money coming from to pay Larry? You're kidding me, right? Listen, I've been coming to these meetings for 30 years. I'm a taxpayer. We're all taxpayers. Everybody who's watching is a taxpayer. You guys spend our money. We have a right to know where the money's coming from, because it's $140,000 if you stay till December. We were talking about teachers to reduce class size. We were talking about the transportation so elementary school could all be on one schedule. That money could have been spent in so many other places. And do you guys actually feel this was the best use of our money?
So I will have to say, yes, at this time, the board has come to a decision that that is the best use of the money. And we also feel that over the past couple of weeks, that many things have transpired. And we think we're putting ourselves in a really good place.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you as a taxpayer and somebody who's come to these meetings, I hope you never treat another employee the way you treated that employee in public. Because if you treated somebody like that in public, I can't even imagine how he was treated in private. And that's just from what I see. It's not what people tell me. It's what I saw at these meetings. And as a taxpayer and a resident, I was embarrassed. But I will move on from that. At the end of the meeting on August 2nd, you did not have a plan moving forward. When I came, well, I didn't actually, well, the next meeting you had was August 18th. No, wait, the next meeting you had, August 2nd, I don't even remember. But you were in executive session, you came out, and you appointed an interim. How did that happen? If you didn't have a plan on the 2nd, how did you have somebody in place at your next public meeting?
So I will say that some of the timeline that you speak of is definitely challenged information, and perception of what you may have seen is not all 100% reality. Again, it's perception of that moment. A lot of things had happened. A lot of things had happened 30 and 60 and 90 days prior to that maybe people were not aware of, and we acted accordingly amongst, collaborating and multiple times in executive sessions, as it is a personnel matter, and I think we handled it the best we could. Again, giving as much information to the public as we can, and we will continue to do that when that is available. As Doug is here with me through the situations, many things could be disclosed at the time, and many things couldn't. What happened that meeting and what appeared to happen that meeting may have been two different things.
No, but on August 2nd, I was the last person to speak at that meeting, and I asked what the plan moving forward was, and you didn't have one. You said you were going to have another meeting moving forward. You were going to add a meeting. The meeting you added, you appointed an interim. How did that happen if you didn't have a meeting in between the two?
We did have a meeting. We had an executive session prior to that meeting.
That night?
Correct.
Okay. See, that's where I'm just a little confused. So you found somebody
There
and
is some-
hired them in 20 minutes? I mean, the timeline doesn't really make sense to me.
There was a process. There was a process from the time that you said there was a meeting to the next meeting. There's a process in place
But
to
I
make
asked,
sure.
but I asked you what the plan was, and you didn't have one. Plan, process, isn't it the same thing?
Same thing. I don't understand what you mean by that.
August 2nd, at the end of that meeting, I asked you what the plan was moving forward.
Correct.
You didn't have one.
Okay.
Isn't the plan and the process the same thing?
We had an executive session to discuss the plan,
You went into executive session that night after the meeting?
didn't we? Did we not?
We did.
Yeah.
Did you?
I believe we did.
Okay, you know what, that's fine, that's fine. Okay, I want to know where we stand with bus drivers. Do we have
Yeah.
any more bus drivers?
Your time is up, but the bus driver situation, Frank? We can answer that
We
question.
added one more bus driver since the last update we gave. So,
One is
Have,
the answer.
have negotiations gone anywhere? Because I know you talked about giving them more money, incentives, something to keep who we have and maybe entice people to come to our district.
Their unit is next up on negotiations, correct?
Next year, they're not up until next year.
Yep.
There's been discussions with the union over the last several months. I can't say whether or not there's been progress in that respect, but I can say that the unit itself, their contract is not up until next year, or the end of this current year,
Can you
as the
please
case
tell
may
me
be.
what items are discussed in executive session? And I don't mean specifics, I mean generalities.
Evelyn, you can have that discussion with Doug at any time you'd like. And again, I just want to try and stay in the process, so we're trying to keep these individuals to 5-minute questions. I think we're a bit over that right now. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to, bring them to our attention. You can send an email over to Veronica. We're just trying to stay on the timeline. Thank you.
No.
Rose McNeil, 147 Liberty Avenue. We were discussing the class size. Have we come to a decision of what it's going to be? 26, 27?
It is 27 for this year,
It is 27.
on those grades that we were talking about.
Where's the overflow going?
Maxed, yeah. Excuse me?
Overflow.
Overflow as far as building overflow? You talk,
Yeah,
what was,
where are those kids going?
did we make a determination on that?
It depends on where there's room and where we have transportation. I don't know, Ms. Butler, if you can add any more.
Correct. So each student is taken on an individual basis based on their location, transportation, and availability throughout the district.
So there's no overflow school?
No,
So I-
last year, we had a unique circumstance where I think in first grade, there was or kindergarten, an overflow class where every overflowed kindergarten student
To
went.
Parliament.
This year, we do not have that. Oh, is that Parliament?
Yeah.
This year, we do not have that, so kids are placed in a building that's best appropriate based on those factors I mentioned earlier.
And what if the classes are all full in those schools, in all the schools? Then
We
what
don't have
happens?
that circumstance in any grade. That's something we would have to consider about opening up another section somewhere.
Principal at Robert Moses, is there a plan? Are we interviewing?
There's a plan. I laid out the plan in executive session. There's a plan. We will share that plan with you. And I have a consensus in terms of the board as to what that plan is. I'll be sharing it publicly very shortly. There is a plan, and I think you're going to be happy with the plan.
And how many acting assistant principals are there at Moses?
At this time, none.
None?
At this time,
There are no assistant principals at Moses?
you said acting.
Well, acting,
Well,
like,
current.
presently,
Well, nobody's
current.
acting as one,
Well,
but there, we have a
present.
current, yes, we have one current assistant principal, Ms.
One.
Hasandreas.
Okay.
I would say that my goal in terms of opening the school will be to have a principal and 2 assistant principals.
So
That's my goal.
Are we hiring another assistant principal for Moses?
You
Someone
know,
new?
we'll disclose the plan shortly. There is a plan, and I think you're going to be happy with the plan. You don't like that? I understand. Okay, I got it.
Hi, Jennifer Di Natale, Mitchell, Alfred Street. Welcome, Dr. Lowry, thank you. I'm sure that it was a hard decision to figure out, and I'm sure there was multiple things that happened behind the scenes before they did get to a decision, the board got to a decision of having an interim versus directly hiring a superintendent. I think it's a very important position, one that obviously we need somebody that has bond work experience. I obviously, looking at what we went through this summer, I really hope that you, when you do look for whoever will be taking over our district, that is taken into consideration. I believe, looking at your previous school districts, I believe, Dr. Larry, that you did have some bond work. Are you working, I know you're saying that you're taking an active role. Are you taking an active role in the bond work issues that we have in this district?
That's why we were late to this meeting.
Okay.
I have a very clear plan, and I have the unanimous consent of the board in terms of the plan. We will be putting online a report. We're going to do that immediately. Have a report in terms of all of the expenditures that have gone into the, I believe in transparency. Okay? Because if there's transparency, people aren't going to be frustrated and angry that they don't know. So I'm going to tell you as much as I can. Okay? At this point, and we've done very careful calculation, and let this word go out because I think it's important that we clear up any rumors that are out there and put out sound information. So the best information that I have at this moment is that if we do every aspect of the plan that was put together 5-6 years ago, and that's everything without making any modifications, we would be at this moment $3.5 million in deficit, okay? $3.5 million. I know there's all kinds of numbers that have been floating out there. The real number is $3.5 million. Now, we have a number of options to deal with that, okay? The first option would be to modify the project because there are things in that project that are kind of a wish list, and they could readily be modified, and I don't think there would be too many broken hearts out there that, you know, those things weren't done, and we could save a good deal of money getting there, okay? That's one option. Many of the contracts that were being projected were not signed off on. So we have an ability to go out and rebid those contracts. The economic climate in terms of contractors and materials is a lot better today than it was just even a few months ago. And my hope is that we could get contracts that are more attractive and save some money that way. I also intend to negotiate contracts, and I have done that in the past, and ask for discounts. And I believe we can save considerable amount of money. Now, all of that said, there are other options that the board has. There are reserve funds, and those reserve funds are plentiful. You're in great shape financially, okay? And if we wanted to do every project that's there, there's more than enough money to cover that $3.5 million. I do believe we could shrink that $3.5 million deficit significantly. I'm not saying to zero, but significantly, a lot less than that. So I hope that's a pretty full answer.
I appreciate that answer. It was very
Specific.
Specific, and I appreciate that because that's.
And
I
take a
don't feel
look at the
like-
website, and you'll see every single penny, every single project, okay? Transparency is the name of the game. We need credibility here, okay?
You need itemized
So when
things,
people speak, they're speaking with, you know, facts, evidence, transparency, honesty, okay? Nobody, I'm not here as a magician, you know, watch this shiny item and, you know, we're going to deliver something else. I'm not having anything to do with that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I don't do that.
I very much appreciate that
You
answer. I
betcha.
think a lot of concerns from a lot of people were, how did we get to
Yeah.
$6 million short for this phase? And then when you had board members up here asking for itemized lists, and they asked at multiple meetings, which means that they were not given those lists, those itemized lists. And you, as a board, how are you expected to vote on money issues if you are not given stuff in an itemized way? How are we as a community expected to, we paid this money, we voted on this bond, we gave
It's your money.
the money to
It's
the
your money.
district to better our children,
course.
and we should know exactly, do we need to know what every doorknob costs? Maybe. Maybe we need to know if that was a $1,000 doorknob or if it was a $10 doorknob. But I think that we should be able to have that information to sift through if we want to.
And you got it.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank
okay,
you.
very good.
And then, just one more thing, I know, I am, my brain's going crazy. I'm also one of the co-chairs, thank you, the co-chair of the Special Needs Focus Group in the district. I would love, we are meeting next week to get ourselves together. I would love to invite you to one of our meetings. They have been virtual for the most part. We haven't decided if we're doing virtual or we're going to talk next week, but I would love for you, if you would like to sit in, or anybody that would like to sit in on one of our special needs focus groups. Last year, we put on the special education website, we did put together a program that defines all of our special education programs we have. We would love to do a presentation for you as for the board as well. But this year, we do have some things that we want to build on the special education website.
Please invite me. I'll do whatever I can to make the meeting.
Thank you. And that goes for, I know multiple board members have come to it, but thank you.
I will also say that in discussions of future presentations, you're definitely on the list, and
I know some other things
looking forward
happened
to
to come
hearing
up
it.
that were a little more important.
Just a couple.
Just a few, but I appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. We're very interested in looking forward to hearing about all that great work, too.
I would like to just point out, you did mention to her that the timer went off. I just want to point
I look that way, right?
You did not mention it to her though, and I just have to point it out because it was always mentioned to me.
Okay, I just want to say that Dr. Larry had a long explanation to her that took a lot of her time as well, so take that into consideration. Excuse me? Okay. Thank you. So while we're going on here, I just leaned over to, counsel, and he can give a little brief explanation of the timeline for us.
So there's been a lot of mention or a lot of use of the word plan as it relates to the appointment of Dr. Aaronstein to serve as the district's interim superintendent of schools. And I can tell you this, that there hasn't been a moment where the district, or the board in particular, has been without a plan as it related to Mr. Eschbach's replacement and the appointment of an interim superintendent. So from the time that the board was aware of the circumstances giving rise to the need, the board has been actively engaged, both with my office and amongst themselves, regarding what needed to be done and who needed to serve as the district's leader moving forward. So to that end, the board interviewed multiple candidates for the position of interim superintendent, ultimately chose Dr. Aaronstein to lead the district while it conducts a long-term search for a permanent replacement for a permanent superintendent of schools. Bearing in mind, that process takes time. So insofar as, the board's dealing with a timeline of 1 to 2 months, that's certainly not enough time to pick the leader of your district moving forward. So in the intervening time, Dr. Aaronstein will lead the district while the district conducts a full search. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I also wanted to just add that, again, during this transition period, we've had a tremendous amount of work and people stepping up to pick, just jump in, give us the information, like Dr. Larry said, meet with him, our administrative, our cabinet, everyone. I don't want to point out certain names because I'll miss one, and I just want it to be clear that everybody has stepped up to make this as seamless of a transition as possible. And I just wanted to say a super thank you to all of that as well, including my board members and making the time to have special meetings and put them together. Everyone to navigate their vacation time and the summer work and all that kind of stuff. So a huge shout out to everybody involved in the process.
Let me say that I have felt so welcome here. Everyone has been so cooperative and so positive, and I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I go home every day, and my wife says, "How did it go?" I said, "Fantastic." I said, "These people are great." Okay? I really appreciate that. I appreciate the way in which I've been welcomed in. It's terrific. Good for you.
Anything else from the board members? So with that being said, I motion to close this meeting this evening. Motion? Motion, Mr. Scheid, second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Myers. All in favor? Aye. Everyone, thank you very